Hey, what up, though? This is Cook One, aka Chef Man Cooker. Quick block. This is part two of the Detroit mayoral candidate debate. Uh, everybody was raising their little points. I might throw a comment in every now and then. But this is part two. Hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe and check in on me every now and then. I might have a good issue and a good subject that you might be interested in. But right now, part two mayoral debate.
Gene Boardcamp, if you would like to answer as well.
Sure. I've turned around the lives of about 1,000 children in Detroit, and what that involves is much more than turning around a hospital. Because it's not just administrative. It means that I have to form perhaps thousands of relationships with parents, with community organizations, with governmental organizations, with foundations. I've had to deal with so many people all at once that all have different interests, that indeed that would be an amazing skill to bring as mayor.
I just turned around a hospital with no money though. It was North Detroit General Hospital. There was a buyer for it for 1.9. I think it ended up selling for 4. And it's a charter school today, but it's still one less vacant building. And you should see it today. It's on North Detroit General Hospital, on Carpenter Street and Chairs. And you should see it today. It's a really nice, viable building. And that's the work that I want to continue on doing in the city of Detroit.
The longer this dude talk, the less you like him. It seemed like, yes, he does have good intentions, but he just can't get his thoughts together.
Mr. Sikowski, thank you. Mr. Darrow?
Let me say, Mr. Henderson, implicit in your question is the $60 million, left out of your question is the $60 million that Mr. Duggan received. I can make it rain with $60 million. But let me talk about what I have turned around. I took a dying Detroit black hospital in 1989.
Did this old nigga just say he can make it rain with $60 million? Shit, I can too. A lot.
And I turned that hospital around. It's the only black hospital that's still open today. I rebuilt my business after being treated unfairly by the system. I rebuilt my business from scratch with no money to restart it and build it back up to where it is today. I am an expert in turnaround. I don't have those kinds of resources to make it rain. That's why I can relate to every small business person when it comes to talking about your business and turning something around. You know, I didn't go into a business that was bustling and started and then get somebody to give me $60 million and privatize and sell it off. I didn't do that.
Now, he sounds good and he sounds strong. He sounds like a decent leader, you know what I mean? But his aggression in the field of fire, if you will, might come as a disadvantage for him. He's too cocky. He's too aggressive. We can continue.
Our next question will come from Debbie Dingle.
Ms. Boardcamp, do you believe that Detroit needs to have a stronger ethics guideline for the conduct of business, and would you lead efforts to change what currently exists? Absolutely. Could you expound on that? What would if it's so easy, why hasn't it been done? And is that part of the...
Well, I'm not sure why it is in Detroit that when things are wrong, it takes a very long time for authorities to catch them. And since I can't be bought, my whole life experience and the goal of my life is not the material world, I think that people would be having a rude awakening about perhaps the things that they used to slide to other people to get contracts, both in the city and in the suburbs that take advantage of Detroit. So I think, of course,
transparency, gifts,
and I think that the city's finances need to be online. Ann Arbor has a system that's online, but it's not clear enough. You need to be able to press on every single thing. Like if it says vendor, you should be able to press on that vendor connected to the campaign contributions. If it says that it's a project, I want to see the breakdown of the budget of what it's for and how they're using it. You can have it up to the minute. I don't know why Detroit doesn't have that.
Ms. Boardcamp, thank you so much. We have time for 2 responses as well. Lisa Howes.
When you talk about ethics, I come from a profession that requires transparency. That's the public accounting profession. What we have are a lot of inconsistencies in our ethics and transparency in the city of Detroit.
Now, I'm going back to the part one comment I made as far as her mic. As soon as this young lady, well, as soon as this lady tends to speak, her mic is always crappy. It's always fucked up. Why is that? Why everybody else mic is okay but hers? Maybe I'm connecting wrong dots, but I don't know. Here we go.
Let's start with the Office of the Emergency Manager and the fact that he came from Jones Day, which is the same company that's going to manage the whole restructuring of our debt.
Pipe bomb. She just dropped a pipe bomb. You see what I'm saying? If you don't know what a pipe bomb is, it's a damn good point. Our EM manager he works for the people that's trying to take us down. But yet, he was appointed to be our savior. Continue.
That's called a conflict of interest. However, when our former Mayor Kwame Malik Kilpatrick, he was on trial, he has been convicted, he along with a contractor who was doing the best work, they thought, for the city of Detroit. But they go to jail for that same type of crime.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa House. One more.
See? Drop a pipe bomb, they try to cut you off.
The two of you. Okay, we have one more. Sigmund Shevkowski. 30 seconds.
I'm going to get rid of the contractors. I'm putting people back to work because we're not going to get ahead with these contractors. And I'm going to forbid City Council, as well as my office too, I will not write a contract of any other type for other types of business beyond my years of in office, okay? If I got 4 years left, okay, I'm only going to write 4 years worth of contracts. I'm not going to go over 30 years like you did the casino, and we got nothing out of it, okay? I'm looking out for you. Jobs for Detroit.
Told you got some good ideas, but his thoughts, they just scramble eggs right now. He'll get it together.
Mr. Shevkowski, thank you. Our next question comes from Nolan Finley with the Detroit News.
Lisa Howes, you're a certified public accountant. Governor Snyder's a certified public accountant. He looked at the numbers in Detroit and figured the only way to erase $18 billion in debt was bankruptcy. You looked at the numbers and said bankruptcy wasn't necessary. How would you have dealt with that debt?
First of all, I think the move to go to bankruptcy is premature. There are a number of efforts that the governor and the state legislature could have exercised before getting to this point. If the governor wants to be a true friend and partner of the city of Detroit, there's legislation that will require residency in the city of Detroit. Being able to reform the auto insurance rate for the city of Detroit. You want to know why we have a loss of population in our city? People can't afford to live here. So they move. That impacts our tax base.
That's a good point. Seems like a lot of people do. Well, I have a few friends I can't count on my fingers and toes, but they all left the city. They literally left the state. You know what I mean? I don't know why they felt it was better everywhere else, or maybe living conditions was more neater and cleaner. But as far as the living expense, shit, the living expense in America has risen. They saying we probably won't have gas under $3 ever. So why would your hometown being in a crisis scare you off from it in the sense of helping rebuild it? Maybe that's just me. Let's continue.
So more importantly, when my 4-step plan was that we would have expenses that are eligible for federal matching revenue, that will reduce the deficit in the general fund. To address the cash flow issue, we would need to legislate being able to better collect our income taxes, as well as property taxes for both businesses and people. When you put people back to work, where's the jobs plan for the city of Detroit? You talk about an urban economic development, it is right here. But our people aren't working, our people aren't eating, they can't even afford to keep the roof.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa House. We have time for 2 rebuttals, 30 seconds each. Mr. Barrow, you're standing up on the issue of solving the deficit in the city of Detroit.
Let me say in response to your question, Mr. Finley, that, the governor is a CPA, and if you look on the wall, he'll see that he'll find my signature underneath his CPA certificate. I was the chairman of the State Board of Accountancy when he became one. But when I respond to your question, I want you to know I won't accept the premise Debt, long-term debt, does not create a short-term emergency. I am an expert in municipal finance. When you will never pay off $18 billion of debt. No one will ever pay it off. No more so you'll pay off your mortgage tomorrow. The reality is we have not defaulted on anything. This is all contrived. Debt is not the basis of anything. You'll see that there's been no negotiations with the bondholders.
Thank you.
There's been no negotiations with anybody except the pensioners to bust their head.
Mr. Barrow, thank
Told you. He's cocky as hell. He's strong leader. But you can't take that to the head.
you so much. Time for one more candidate, Mr. Lipscomb. How to deal with the $18 billion deficit in the city of Detroit?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Your response to the question, how would you have dealt with this massive deficit?
Let me just say who not to vote for. Don't vote for me if you don't want someone who's going to tell you the truth. You see, part of our problem in this city is we have been in denial about the debt, about the finances. It is not possible to lose 1.3 million residents and not be broke. It's not possible. It's
Damn good point.
impossible. So we need to get beyond that. If we want to have a world-class city, we're going to have to engage in world-class critical, analytical thinking and stop fantasizing.
Mr. Lipscomb, thank you.
Yes, world-class thinking. You know what? We got some big-ass parks in Detroit. Not to mention, I'm not just, well, of course, Belle Isle, but we have Rouge, we have Palmer, we have Chandler. We have a lot of big parks. You know what I'm saying? That we kind of still own. Why not build a money-making machine on one of those parks? Maybe a new existing a recreation of Boblo Island on Belle Isle Island or something. You know what I mean? Something that in that nature. I can recall back some years back, Don Barton and Michael Jackson wanted to build a theme park on Belle Isle. That would have been pretty damn great. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some people don't like roller coasters and whatnot, but we wouldn't have to go all the way down to Ohio to spend our money. You know what I mean? Why not have those Ohioans and the other people from Indiana, Illinois, and all these other types of surrounding states come to us with their money instead of us going to them? Okay, here we go.
Very much. We'll move on to our next question, and we'll give that to Stephen Henderson with the Detroit Free Press.
The mayor in the city does not have control over schools, but education is a huge driver of people's decisions about where they live. Lisa Howes, how would you, as mayor, leverage your power to try to improve education in a way that will attract people back?
First of all, we've gone about educating our children in the wrong way. We've done it backwards. We ask them to go to class to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic for a job that they have no clue about. My proposal is that we begin to expose them to the careers first. So if they want to be an architect, they need to know what an architect does. So therefore, geometry makes more sense to them in the classroom. If they want to be an accountant, follow me around for a day.
You are a CPA.
Yes. But the fact of the matter is, education has to become more relevant. And the other thing, as mayor, as you have control of, is the safety of our children and all the wraparound services that families rely on. Whether it's the police officers partnering with DPS police, making sure transportation is adequate to get that kid to and from school, and all of the other wraparound services that will make education important in the city of Detroit. We need strong schools in our neighborhoods to rebuild our tax base.
Lisa Howes, thank you. We have time. Quick.
Yeah, schools are a big importance because, like, I can say I can go to the site of I went to a few elementary schools. I went to one middle school and 2 high schools. Now I can tell you, out of all those schools that I just mentioned, the 3 or 4 elementary schools, the 1 middle school, and the 2 high schools, out of all of those schools, 2 of them are still standing. I'm not saying I mean standing, the building standing. You know what I mean? It's like my whole childhood history has been wiped away Part 3 coming up.